contain no trans fats, which contributes to coronary heart disease, and about half of the fat is made up of the desirable monounsaturated fats and only one third of the less healthy saturated fats. The World Cancer Research Foundation has suggested that consumption of large amount, more than 500 grams a week, of red meat, particularly processed meat, but not the chicken meat, may be unhealthy. Poultry meat, particularly from scavenging birds, due to their varied diet, is an important provider of the essential polyunsaturated fatty acids, especially omega-3 fatty acid. The amount of these important fatty acids, particularly long-chain polyunsaturated fatty acids, can be increased more easily in chicken meat than in other livestock meats, although negative effect on the oxidative stability may erupt. The water holding capacity. The water holding capacity have direct bearing on the color and tenderness of meat, is among the most important functional properties of raw meat. For categorization of water holding capacity of meat sample, the term water binding potential is expressible moisture and freedom that has been proposed. The water binding potential represents the maximum amount of water that muscle protein can retain under the conditions prevailing at measurement. Expressible moisture refers to the quantity of water that can be expelled from the meat by the use of force, and free drip refers to the amount of the water that is lost by the meat without the use of force other than capillary force. About 88 to 95% of the water in the muscle is held intracellularly within the spaces between actin and myosin filaments. The rest is located between myofibrils. Increase in the water content of the muscle, enhancing tenderness, juiciness, firmness and appearance, improve the quality and economic value of the meat. Water holding capacity is the function of factors such as pH, sarcomere length, ionic strength, osmotic pressure and development of rigor mortis, which act as an alternating the cellular and extracellular component. pH has a direct bearing on the meat quality attributes such as tenderness, water holding capacity, color, juiciness and shelf life. The broiler breast meat with high pH has a higher water binding capacity than the meat with lower pH. The pH of broiler meat is function of the amount of the glycogen in muscle prior to slaughter and the rate of the glycogen conversion into lactic acid after slaughter. Identification of color is an easy way to determine the pH of meat. If the meat is very dark, it has a high pH, and if the meat is very light, it has low pH. Now let's discuss about some residues of chemical contaminants in poultry meat. Due to this increasing demand in the industry result in strict measure in disease control and environmental factors. These products may involve some chemical and natural compounds with hazardous properties at detectable or even at very low concentrations. Among these compound residues are of concern including veterinary drugs, environmental pollutants and natural contaminants, and phytosanitary substances accidentally contaminating poultry product during the production and marketing stage. So, veterinary drugs. Veterinary drugs in the poultry are used to control the infectious diseases for prophylactic and as growth promoters. The use of these drugs for infectious disease control is logical, but the prophylaxis and growth promoter is causing serious threats to human nowadays. This overuse lead to the residues of these drugs in poultry meat, which in turn cause hazardous health effects in human. The hazardous effects include direct toxicological effect, allergic reaction, change of gut microflora, increased bacterial resistance to antimicrobials. Serious concerns are raised on the antibacterial resistant in zoonotic enteropathogens and some commensal bacteria like Escherichia coli and Enterococci species. Radioactive substances. Two radioactive elements named as iodine 131 and cesium 137 are present in poultry meat and eggs. Both elements enter the poultry meat and egg through feed source. When a person is exposed to cesium that lead to diarrhea, vomiting and bleeding, long-term exposure may lead to coma and even death. Iodine 131 when enters the human body can cause thyroid cancer and cause nodular formation in thyroid gland. Resistant organic pollutants. Chicken is exposed to resistant organic pollutants through various routes. The most common exposure route is its intake through feed. Most common POPs which are present in poultry meat are organochlorine, pesticides, industrial chemicals, polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins. When the human body is exposed to POPs, it leads to increased risk of cancer, reproductive disorders, alteration of immune system, neurobehavior impairment and endocrine disruption, genotoxicity and increased birth defects. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons accumulate in meat as a result of cooking chicken meat at high temperature barbecue. Coal and coal dust penetrate on the cooked food and cause alimentary canal and large intestine cancer. Phthalates. Poultry meat is very common source of phthalates like diethylene acyl phthalate or dibutyl phthalate or diisobutyl phthalate. When the human is exposed to these phthalates, they cause sperm damage in male and reproductive canal disorders in female. That's all for this lecture. Thank you so much.